What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh. I hope you guys are ready to receive the best hour you have ever seen in your entire life. Why? Because we got it all, baby. We got hope, we got positivity, we got excitement, we got encouragement, we got inspiration, motivation, empowerment, the whole nine, man. So I hope you guys are excited about this. Pull up a chair, pour up a couple shots, let your hair down, kick your shoes off, and get ready to receive the most power-packed hour you have ever seen in your entire life. I'm excited, baby. Let's go.
Joseph Jaffe. Why does that name sound so suspiciously familiar? Maybe because your secret screen name is Not Famous for You. What do you mean by not famous for you, Joseph? Chris Hansen here of Hansen versus Predators. To catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen. Now, Joseph Jaffe, I'm going to need you to have a seat right over there. See some suspicious activity. Something about a television show, doing interviews, 200 guests, something like that. But Joseph, you are not famous. And the people on your show, well, they're not infamous like my shows. But remember, Jaffe is not famous. So let's keep it that way. I'll be watching and listening. Behave.
When it comes to chicken, I'm your guy.
Blinking.
I'll have what Joseph's has.
Look, somebody's talking about you.
This is what we call the voice of God.
Popping.
Everybody just gets to focus on you.
Grab me.
Probably not the best thing for an introvert.
I'm asking for you.
Well, I like a good chicken sandwich.
Touch me. Hi, David. Comment.
Oh my God.
Like.
You're actually an identical twin.
Push.
Maybe I'll just ask Julie to talk about what it is to be
No.
an identical twin.
Pick me up.
No, you didn't.
Shouting.
Surprise! Jeremiah, just hang on a second. I just got a text.
There's an edit for your new opening, Joseph.
I feel really honored to have been here, man.
By the way, you've done a masterful job. Seriously.
And it was such a joy.
Thanks, Joseph. It's an honor.
Good on you. This was a pleasure.
I mean, you are the prime example of how to pivot in this new environment.
I wish everybody gets an opportunity to interact with Joseph Jaffe.
Who needs Cameo when I've got my own personal Cameo? Well, hello everybody and welcome. It is Tuesday, August 31st. Can you believe it is almost September? The time has flown. Time flies when you're having open heart surgery. I actually have that sound effect. If you need it. You know, I'm happy. Why wouldn't I be happy? I'm happy because you're here. And it's another evening and I love these 9 p.m. late night shows. Sometimes I feel at about 8 o'clock I get a little bit tired, but then I take my adult beverage and that makes me more tired, but it doesn't matter because I am drunk on life. I'm drunk on meeting famous guests because I'm famous. I mean, we all know that, right? So let me take the opportunity to send out some thanks. You know, I got so many cards and gifts and just expressions of gratitude while I was recovering. And Diana, this is a little shout out to you. You sent me beer glasses. I don't even know where they are. I don't even know if they arrived. Maybe somebody found them and put beer in them and drank them. But I just want to let you know, even just the people that were thinking of me, it makes a difference. It really made a huge difference. And I am just tremendously grateful to everyone that showed their their spirit and their support. I want to show support back to you. And yesterday it wasn't working too well, but it is working now. So from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can get Jaffe coin. All you got to do is take your phone and shine it at that QR code that just appeared. That QR code will be live from 9 until 10. And so only people that are watching live will be able to get a Jaffe coin. Now, when you do, it's going to open up a Safari browser. If you are not on rally.io, which of course is the company behind my creator coin, the Jaffe coin, you're going to need to register. I mean, that you're just going to have to create a username, and then you'll go to getbonfire.zyx /Jaffe or maybe it's XYZ and I'm dyslexic. I suddenly can't remember, /earn. And before you know it, voila, you're going to get yourself a Jaffe coin. And I am going to continue to have a QR code in every single one of these live shows. So the more you watch, the more you earn. You watch 10 shows, that's $60. $60 turns into 100. And before you know it, you're a millionaire. And why not? This is the Jaffe economy. Again, well, it's not upcoming surgery anymore. Just go to rally.io/creator/Jaffe. It is as simple as that, my fine feathered friends. And then on Fridays, coming up starting next week, we're going to have a reunion show. So all the guests, all the creators from the week before will come together. And all you got to do is hold a Jaffe coin to be eligible to actually be a part of the show. And of course, you now know how to do that. And of course, it is free for all holders. So I'm going to keep mentioning a few new things I'm doing, but this is definitely one of them. But today we're going to, well, yesterday we focused on someone who taught us about gratitude, Dave Kirpin, and tomorrow his wife, Carrie Kirpin. And it's a Kirpin sandwich, but right in the middle of the Kirpin sandwich is Maria Bailey, Queen Maria Bailey, famous Maria Bailey, who will be my guest tonight. And then Jeff Pulver on Thursday. Maria is the CEO of BSM Media, author, and we know each other from previous lives. And then afterwards, you will be introduced to Corvus. He is a creator. He is an artist. He is a poet. And I'm just thrilled to hear his poem. Well, today, it's nighttime now, but today is Eat Outside Day. And I thought it was kind of appropriate that it was Eat Outside Day because one of the things that we haven't really done a lot of is get outside during the last year and a half, certainly during winter. And I decided, and I think Maria is not going to love this soliloquy too much because she is in love with Clubhouse. And this is a little bit of I don't want to say it's an anti-Clubhouse soliloquy, but it's an anti-Clubhouse soliloquy. And I actually am excited to hear what she has to say, say about the soliloquy. So without further ado, don't join the conversation. Look, as many of you know, I wrote a book called Join the Conversation in 2007. And yesterday, after a 2-month hiatus, I returned to the social audio app Clubhouse. I ran my weekly Monday 2 p.m. Eastern time room, but I called it this time, Don't Join the Conversation. In the early days of Clubhouse, I referred to social or drop-in audio as what would happen if social media and radio had a love child. Like so many people, I found myself spending hours on end in rooms, and as the joke went, hosts became hostages. I also noticed my media consumption patterns were changing. I was actually watching less television or video at night because I chose Clubhouse instead. My podcast usage went to zero. My in-cast Sirius listening went to zero. Sorry, Howard. Maybe it was because of the newness and the early days of this bright and shiny object. Maybe it was homage to the fact Clubhouse was in the right place at the right time when so many people were stuck at home, isolated and desperate for connection. Maybe it was because everyone was clout chasing for followers, or maybe it was the devilishly nefarious notifications which reeled you in like a moth to a flame. All I know is that when I took my enforced break for surgery, I turned off notifications, and this was one of the single best decisions I ever made. And as I went through my recovery, something amazing happened when I sporadically opened Clubhouse. I listened. I heard. I didn't need to speak. In fact, the more time that elapsed, the less I wanted to speak. I was content to be in the audience. I was content to be the audience. And in doing so, I became a discerning listener. In the car, walking the dog, often is nothing more than background music when multitasking or doing admin, maybe even prepping for the show. And I'm not embarrassed to admit it as a great way to fall asleep. Riveting content, not. Not always, but often, I've witnessed stages occupied by so many blowhards, windbags, or as heard in my room yesterday, emotionally thirsty ding-dongs. My takeaway and my message to you is simple. Your voice is valuable and always deserves to be heard, but you don't always need to talk, and not unless you have something compelling to say. And that's not subjective. Instead, why not trust those who have put in their 10,000 hours before Clubhouse? Because they will be there putting in another 10,000 hours long after Clubhouse is gone and the ding-dongs have moved on to their next platform. And with that, I'm done speaking. And I'm definitely done speaking because now it's time to actually hear what Maria Bailey has to say. And she has a lot to say, and I have a lot to listen to her. Maria Bailey is an award-winning author, TV and radio personality, and CEO of BSM Media, the original Marketing to Moms agency. Her company has spent 25 years connecting top brands such as Disney, Chick-fil-A, HP, SeaWorld, Little Tikes, and Kellogg's with mom consumers. She's the author of 10 books on marketing to moms, including a latest, Marketing to Millennial Moms in a Post-Pandemic World. She's the host of Mom Talk Radio, the first and only nationally syndicated radio show for moms with kids of all ages, and she is the proud mother of 4, and I am proud to welcome her onto the show. Maria Bailey, welcome to Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous.
So excited to be here. I can't even tell you how excited I am.
I am more excited. It's been a minute, hasn't it?
It has. We go back way back to Walmart days.
Yeah. So do you want to tell that story?
Well, we both were consultants on coming up, I believe, with a new slogan for Walmart. And I actually tell my kids that the live better was my part of the slogan. But I remember we used to trip out to Austin, Texas together and spend a lot of days locked in a room coming up with the next strategy. But those were good times.
Well,
we've come a long way, Joseph. I seem to have difficulty hearing. Ten, 9, 8, 7. Hello? Can't hear. Oh no.
Well, I'm not sure what exactly is going on. We are having some technical difficulties. But if you are watching, please let me know and put something in the comments. I have to say, let's just see if she's here. Maria.
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
You know, one of the things that's actually happened since I came back and got everything set up is I think my poor little MacBook Pro is struggling just a little bit. And so we'll see, hopefully, if everything works out. I really do hope it does. But let me know if I lose you again.
I hear you.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to do, as I said, is I didn't mean to. You know what? I think I'm losing it again. We may.
I hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. We're good.
All right. So one of the things I don't know what's going on in terms of the technical issues, but I can see that my MacBook is laboring slightly as I get my show back on the ground. And I think what we'll do is hopefully this will work. Otherwise, what we may have to do is just do the show another day. What do you think?
Whatever you want to do. I'm here and we'll see what we can do.
All right. So
great.
So I call this little segment Fun Facts when it does work. And Maria, I always like to find out a little bit about my guests. And one of the things that I found out about you is that your college degree is in biology. And after writing 7 marketing books, you went back, got your MBA at 50 years old, so you could have a related degree to your work. And we actually managed to get a photo of you in the lab. What made you do this?
I think because I sat through so many meetings where young marketing executives told me what B school they went to, and the only B school I had gone to was biology. So I decided that I wanted to find out if they knew something about business that I didn't know. And so I decided to apply. I actually applied to a school that 2 of my 3 children had been denied entrance and admission to, and I wanted to see if I could get in. So I applied, and I actually got in the same day that my 3rd child got into the same school.
What?
So we graduated together. Can you imagine going to college with your mother?
Wait, but you weren't in the same classes together?
No.
Thank God.
So we both went to the University of Notre Dame, and he was an undergraduate. I was in the business school getting my MBA. We had a couple of rules. Number 1, I did not do laundry, so he could not bring laundry to my hotel where I lived. If 2 of us were in the same bar, I had to leave. And the 3rd rule was that he couldn't party with any of my friends during the week. So those were our rules. And
I love that story so much.
Yeah, we graduated together. It was an amazing experience. And, it's one that it was so unique, because think about how many great experiences you could actually have with your mother going to college. And it was funny because he would call me and say, "Hey mom, you want to go get something to eat?" And it was actually me that said, "Oh, I can't, I got a group meeting tonight," or, "Oh, I'm studying for an exam." And he was like, "What is going on? Like, are you kidding me?" So yeah, I graduated with my son.
I actually prefer the other story where they'd be calling to say, would you like to come out to eat? And you're like, "No, I'm playing beer pong with my sorority sisters," or something like that.
Right.
Well, that is a cool story, as is the fact, because you are just a very interesting person. I mean, I knew that before, but now I really do, which is you cycle 75 to 100 miles a week, and you've run 27 marathons. I mean, there's you in one of them.
I'm looking pretty good, aren't I?
You're looking amazing as well. I mean, you haven't even broken a sweat.
I know. I'm good there. Yeah, I've run a marathon with every one of my kids but my youngest. and I'm getting ready to run a half marathon with one of my kids next month. So yeah, the family that runs together stays together.
Or at least the family that runs together, when one tries to run away, you can just catch them. I don't know.
Well, Joseph, you know how it all started. I had 3 children in less than 20 months. And I used to say the only way I could get away from the chaos, was to take up long distance running. Because if I ran just 5 miles or 2 miles, someone could catch up. But if you run 12 miles, you're pretty much out there alone. So that's why I took up distance running.
I mean, listen, I running for me kept me sane during 2020. So I know all about it. And we have one more interesting fun fact. We're not done with you yet.
Oh, great.
Which is, it's not that bad. But you own a double wide. I actually had to go. I'm not joking. I actually went and Googled what is a double wide. So this is the house that you bought with your Walmart consulting revenue, I guess.
I did, and my kids call it the house that Walmart bought. And isn't that so appropriate that I would buy a double wide? Actually, I'm an avid fisherman or fisherwoman, and the double wide is a fish camp. But I got to tell you, I actually sold it on Friday, so I no longer own a double wide. But it was the only double wide on the river that had granite countertops. Clearly, I didn't know that you're not supposed to over-improve a house that ages. So.
So why do they call it a double wide?
Because okay, do I need to teach you about Southern culture? Because
you do.
Okay, so it's because there's also single wides. So it's a house on an axle, and it's a double wide. So it's twice the size of a single wide. And you play Leonard Skinner, and you fry up catfish on a Friday night, and you throw out a couple of good yalls, and it's such a good place to be.
Well, you have educated me. Now this double wide, is it prefab, or it's actually built from scratch?
Oh no, it's prefab. It's on an axle. It has to have a registration just like a car.
So you can pick it up and take it somewhere.
Well, you could, yeah, if you wanted to move it.
Well, I appreciate the education, the world according to Maria Bailey. Right. Thank you very much. And you know what? As I said, I've learned something new. The teacher has become the student. Now, I haven't mentioned this actually or shared this, but I'm actually teaching in the fall. Wow. So I'm actually teaching at Western Connecticut State University and also NYU. And I was just thinking, how lucky would I be if I was your professor, if you were one of my students, because you went back to school at 50. I'm teaching at 50.
No, it would not be a good thing, Joseph. Do you know how many times I butted heads with some of my professors? Because I would raise my hand and say, well, in the real world, this is the way it happens. And I butted heads a few times, but it was an experience. I had a hashtag for myself. It was hashtag MBA at 50. And that was on top of my cap when I graduated.
Oh, and by the way, and you're smarter than me as well. So,
No. I'm teaching a class too this fall. I teach at the Ohio State University, which, by the way, was a gig that my son got for me. Now, there's a change in life when your kid gets you a side gig. But yeah.
Well, I love this as a segue, to go into this idea of, marketing to moms and now focusing on millennial moms, because I almost see already an interesting insight, which is, the family that runs together, stays together, studying with your kid, your kid getting you gigs as well. It seems like, and I wonder, first of all, is a millennial mom different to a boomer mom, a Gen X mom? I would assume so, because millennials are different. They have their own characteristics. What are the key differences? Why study, in this particular case, the millennial mom as opposed to your wheelhouse or your forte, which is moms in general?
Well, basically because my focus is on marketing, and to understand consumer behaviors, you have to understand the values, the events that affected that generation, because they all impact the consumer behaviors of that generation. So, earlier you talked about the fact that I was a biology major, and I think the thing that has set my marketing, processes have made my approach differently is that I kind of look at consumer behaviors as like a chemical reaction. So A plus B equals C. And I just want to insert a brand or my client or my messaging into that chemical behavior. So I'll give you an example with millennial moms, how that behavior comes out. So millennial moms were raised by boomer moms who praised them, gave them trophies for everything. And so now, if you know that the millennial mom likes to be in the spotlight, right? So if you are marketing to her, you look at that chemical reaction, you say, okay, if I want to gain her attention, then what I want to do is somehow put her in the spotlight in whatever marketing tactic I'm going to execute. So it might be showcasing, I don't know, a piece of user-generated content that she's created. And now I've put her in the spotlight by putting her on my Instagram account. And what does that do? That wins over her loyalty as a consumer and as a messenger, an ambassador, or an advocate for your brand. So if you know the historical events, the economic events, the parenting style of her mother, then you can determine the type of consumer she is and her trigger points as a consumer. So that's why I take the broader umbrella of moms and then slice it down into generations, because every generation is impacted by social events and history and all of those other things.
I mean, I love that. And the one thing that I would want to ask you straight away is and I've had people on the show talking about what it is, the old saying, which is you can have everything as a woman, right? You can be a mom and you can be a successful person in the workforce, yada, yada, yada. And the reality is that it's a lot harder. It doesn't just fall into your lap. It is tough. I would love for you to share some, almost like the evolution of what it is to be a mom, and especially in today's times. The last year and a half in particular has been probably the ultimate test, for moms in general.
Well, okay, so you started the question with a major truth that a lot of people ignore. You said the old saying is that you can have it all. And you're right there, Joseph. It is an old saying. It's a saying that's really attached to the mentality of the boomer mom, who was all about, it takes a village to raise my child. Their children now are millennials. And those millennial children, particularly the women who are now moms, saw their moms trying to break through the glass ceiling, and they were raised by a village. And guess what they've decided to do? They've decided that they can have it all, but not at the same time. And so their mentality of or their definition of having it all has changed because of them growing up with moms who were the super moms who could have it all and blaze the trail for us all professionally. And you're right, the millennial mom in particular, and I would say the younger Gen X moms have been tested this year. They've been tested because they wear a lot of hats in normal times, but then they had to add educator to that list. And many of them had to become homeschooling moms, which used to be just a sliver of the demographics when you segmented out moms. And suddenly everyone was a homeschooling mom. So, and we say that, oh, well, if you could work from home, it helps you balance out your life more easily. But in reality, it makes life harder to balance, right? And there's no balance. I'm using that term because everyone kind of seeks balance, but let's use harmony instead, right? So to get to that harmony in your life, it's easier to obtain that when you have boundaries. I leave the house, I go to an office, okay? So I have a distinct boundary between work and home life. If you're in your kitchen and you're homeschooling children over there and you're running a Zoom meeting over there, you don't have those natural boundaries. And that's where the challenge has come in. And the smartest brands were the ones who recognized that and created solutions for her. But absolutely, the millennial mom, in some ways, I was talking, my daughter is about to give birth any minute. I mean, any minute. I got my phone right here, just waiting. And the other day she said to me, she goes, Mom, I just think it's going to be so challenging to be a mom. And another boomer mom and I got together and we're like, okay, we didn't have food delivery. We can't call, Instacart to get our groceries when I was raising my children. We didn't have Amazon depositing something within 6 hours at our door, so it's like, okay, let's put it in perspective here. If I wanted a loaf of bread and I was out of milk, I put 3 children into a car seat and got in my car and drove to the grocery store and got the milk, right? So I guess it's all relative. I didn't have to homeschool my children.
I love that. I had to write that down. It's all relative. Maybe tell your daughter that she gets a participation trophy. That's just a joke. But I really, I want to go back and just touch on that just emphasize that point again. This idea that you can have it all, but not all at the same time. And so would it be safe to say, and this is your book, I'll put it up on the screen, Marketing to Millennial Moms in a Post-Pandemic World, 220 facts marketers need to know to build brands and drive sales, that one of the things that a millennial mom has to be, a successful millennial mom, is a multitasker, one that can compartmentalize, prioritize, and understand, I guess, those opportunity costs.
Absolutely. And fortunately, millennial moms are very tech savvy and have been brought up with technology. So they are able to utilize technology to help them navigate, compartmentalize, and create some of those boundaries, and also to juggle the chaos. You were talking about listening as we started this segment, and I definitely want to talk about Clubhouse. But they have a lot of people talking at them. We have, in some instances, they have all this technology to help manage their world, but at the same time, they've got messages coming at them from so many different channels that could cause chaos too, as well. There's no kind of calm thing. I did research for that book, and one of the things, actually the two behaviors that moms say that they appreciated rediscovering and will continue as we move into a post-pandemic time is the dinner, homemade dinners and time around the dinner table, and not having to fill their schedule, the downtime. They really enjoyed rediscovering downtime. Because don't forget, these same millennial moms were raised as millennial children in a very overscheduled world where their moms felt like they had to have them in tennis lessons and in volleyball and in this and in that, because they had to keep them busy because their moms were corporate moms who were off working 80 hours a week to break through the glass ceiling.
So let me ask you, and to make sure that there's time to discuss your favorite Clubhouse. The one peeve you have right now is that marketers are still, they're not thinking outside the box. They're not changing their behavior when the behavior of the world has changed. You talk about how many voices and noises and people are talking at, and to these millennial moms. What do marketers need to know, to learn, to do? How do they need to change their behavior and their ways to better understand, connect, and engage these millennial moms?
Well, off the top of my head, never use the two terms, working mom and non-working mom or stay-at-home mom. Those are the most two antiquated terminology that you could, and labels that you could put on a millennial mom, because there's such a blurred line now. They have redefined their identity when it comes to work life, not side gigs and earning money. But, I don't think that brands, a lot of brands, take the time to truly know their consumer. And here's a for instance. Most schools, particularly in the South, begin the first week of August. You still have brands who do not start their back to school marketing until August, when kids are already back to school. Right now, moms recognize the fact that there will be a toy shortage because of sourcing out of China and shipping out of China and all of the containers that are in San Diego Harbor right now. Moms are smart. They talk among themselves. They learn, they know. There are so few brands right now, toy brands in particular in this example, who are activating their marketing. They're waiting until October, November, because that's the typical time that moms do their holiday toy shopping. Well, if they truly knew their customer, they would be marketing to them right now. You know that most moms actually take the picture for their Christmas card in June? If photo brands and card companies actually took the time to know their customer behavior, they would be marketing to them in June and July, because every mom likes to check that box and say, okay, I got that done and off the list. I'm ready to go. They're just like, brands are still on the traditional retail calendar rather than the calendar of moms.
I mean, I feel so, this is so crazy, because I feel like if you and I right now were sitting, with Roy Spence in Austin, 10 plus years ago, you would be telling them the same thing. It boggles my mind that in 2021, marketers, brands, retailers, manufacturers still don't know these truths and insights.
I know, it's amazing.
How?
I don't know. I think, maybe part of it is laziness. I don't know. But, I have a saying, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten, right? And, I think a lot of people know, okay, I just need 5% lift in sales this year. And they do what they need to do to get to that 5% instead of shooting for the 10%.
By the way, I have a small theory about that, and then I'm going to give you 3 minutes to rebuttal me. So my theory as to why this happens is actually ironically generational. That what happens is CMOs and chief marketing officers, they don't stay in their position long enough anyway, but they retire, they move on, and actually a next wave and a next wave and a next wave come in, and there isn't the ability to pass down the wisdom and the insights that your grandmother would have passed to your mother, and she would have passed to you, and you will pass to your daughter, and she will pass to your granddaughter. And they don't have that in institutions or corporations. And so what happens is they just end up, it's like Groundhog Day. They just make the same mistakes.
Absolutely. I told a brand last week, I said, listen, I don't need to go to the all-day planning session because I've been coming for 4 years. And no matter what discussion we come out of, we're always going to end up on a sweepstakes and, working with some YouTubers. And I can tell you right now what the plan is because we create the same plan every single year, no matter what we talk about.
Well, yep. I would tell you, my daughter and I drove to St. Louis. I drove her to college, and we passed Porksatani. I don't even know if I got that right, but the groundhog. Yeah. So maybe we'll call it generational corporate laziness. I don't know.
Maybe,
all right.
Maybe.
So Maria, in the time we have left, rebut me on Clubhouse because I've come back from heart surgery and I've become the grouch. Grumpy Grinchy.
No. So here's my thing. I could not agree with you more. I have hosted one Clubhouse room, even though I own a Clubhouse room, one Clubhouse room. I am like you. I like to listen. And what I have found out, well, first of all, I like it, and I do fall asleep to Clubhouse. And you're absolutely right. My television consumption is down. I lay in bed and I listen. But the thing that I have loved about it is I listen to conversations that I would not otherwise have the opportunity to listen to. I've learned about Bitcoin. I've learned about marketing cannabis. I've learned about some mornings I wake up and I listen to African-American gospel music. I've listened to some of the best motivational speakers. However, what I have felt in the evolution of Clubhouse is there's a lot of 23-year-old coaches who want to sell me something, whether it's a coaching session or DM me this to come to my free masterclass. And when I find out that they're 23 years old, I wonder what I'm going to learn about life from a 23-year-old. I have to be honest with you. So I think personally that Clubhouse offers brands and individuals the opportunity to listen to their customers. So in my world, I encourage brands to maybe listen to some of the mom groups and listen to whatever they're griping about, because whatever they're griping about and whatever their challenges are is an opportunity for a brand to create a solution to that. So I think in some cases that it's a really great way to be a fly on the wall with your consumer. For me personally, though, I have to tell you, my husband calls it dashboard for some reason. And every morning when my alarm goes off at 5:21 every single morning, and I click on Clubhouse and it's already on a room where I get to hear an inspirational talk, and I will come down the hall and he's like, well, here comes dashboard. And I actually start my day every morning with Clubhouse because I really like the uplifting message that I hear for the first 10 minutes.
All right. Well, you have uplifted me, even though we had some technical issues. I've got to get to the bottom of exactly what happened. But I'm glad we had the conversation. By the way, I'm glad I persevered. I'm glad that your grandchild hasn't arrived, although they may arrive in the next 15 minutes. But I would be remiss if I didn't plug Popilicious, because let's have some priorities here. And this is just, yet another. I mean, this is your daughter's business, right? Get poppin'. Support Popilicious Popcorn at popiliciouspopcorn.com. Yet another thing that you do with your family, with your blood, with your daughter. It's just, is this all the same daughter, by the way, that you went to school with, that you...
I went to school with my son. This is my daughter. Yes. I started the popcorn business because my son was deployed in Afghanistan and my daughter was in the Peace Corps, and I needed something else to do other than go to church every day. So I started a popcorn business at night. It grew faster than I could imagine. And my daughter has come home from Africa and taken over the reins. So
incredible. Well, you know, we thank them very much for their service.
Thank you.
We're glad that they're safe and sound at home, especially in light of the events of the last week or so. And I'm very grateful for this time together. I am going to leave us today with a quote. There is always a quote on the show. This one comes from Maxime Groski. Only mothers can think of the future because they give birth to it in their children. So they are prophets, they are oracles, as are you, Maria Bailey. If you want to know a little bit more about Maria, and when my technology is not letting us down, just go to bsmmedia.com. Please buy the book, Marketing to Millennial Moms in a Post-Pandemic World. Support Popilicious, of course. And you can find Maria on LinkedIn, of course, in Clubhouse, first thing in the morning. Sorry, what do we call it again? Dashboard?
Dashboard.
Sorry, join her in Dashboard. Follow her on Instagram, and do not follow her on Twitter because she got hacked. Maria, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you a little bit later. But first, as I've mentioned to you, one of the changes on the show is that we have weekly correspondence. On Tuesday, you're going to hear from previous guests on the show, Jory Des Jardins, and here is Jory introducing herself and her segment.
Hi, I'm Jory Des Jardins, an entrepreneur, investor, advisor, and as of this week, your crypto correspondent. Joseph asked me to provide ongoing commentary about this emerging space that everyone loves to talk about, but very few actually understand. And I do this not as someone who understands it more than most other people, but more as a fan who asks a lot of questions and had to figure a lot of stuff out. For some context, after I had exited my company that I co-founded called BlogHer, I started getting interested in emerging technology, especially around marketplaces. And since I had co-founded what you would call now a creator marketplace, I was really interested in new ways of compensating creators for their time, their attention, their IP. And I saw that the internet was making it more and more difficult for creators to distinguish themselves. And I found new ways of doing so through technology like blockchain, which is how I got into this whole space. Believe me, it had nothing to do with the crypto markets, which I have done abysmally with. So I'm not going to give you any investment advice. What I am going to do is talk more about how it has played a role in the internet, companies and trends, and give you my take on what I think is really going to be important as the space takes off. So hope you will join me for my weekly crypto commentary, and we'll see you next week.
And that is Jory Des Jardins. And now we come to last, but definitely not least, the Creator Corner. And I have the pleasure of introducing you to Corvus. Corvus is an artist and a poet based in Miami, Florida. His works are a blend of Gothic banter, I love that, Gothic banter, and existential inquiries. He hopes to garner the mystery in poems once more. Let's welcome him to the show. Corvus, welcome to Joseph Jaffe's Not Famous.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure so far.
I'm glad I persevered. I had a little bit of gremlins in my chips. I'm not talking about the ones I eat, but I'm going to disappear into the background and give you the floor, give you the stage. You are going to be performing Hollowed, and please take it away.
Thank you so much. Hollowed. When I die, don't box me in. There's enough of that in life in comparison to trading sins and swapping spit. But most unruly instances rebukes a rule and services that demand instead of preach. And shall ever will we be justified. The bark of our tree hollowed to think darkness is our alibi. Days in the living marked by shadows of our inner light. Repentance offers safe patches through kindred skies, forged from the dreams of a latter life, where you get to hear of that inner light, speaking in the voice of your inner child. Now that's your battle cry. So when I die, don't box me in. Help me undo this phaeric victory that speaks only how I've yet to live. Fill the vacant bark with my seed, so that I once can bloom again with second wind. Crippled by this cavity, the expression of a futile browning leaf could once restore humanity with its foliage of evergreen, in which the hollowed is in captivity, becoming but a circumstantial consequence to the narrative that seals me indefinitely in verse. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Maria. I brought you back. I brought you back because, as Corvus said, when I die, don't box me in. I also have to give you the air horn as well as I figure out how to get all my sounds back. I did it again. Corvus, that was great. That was amazing.
Appreciate it.
Tell us more about Hollowed. And that iconic line, "When I die, don't box me in."
So there's a lot of wordplay in that line, especially following that there's enough of that in comparison. We tend to judge people so much as almost as if it's our like human nature. And I feel like it would be a disservice to have been judged by mankind when I'm awaiting judgment from a higher power, in a sense, right? And it would feel a disservice to be boxed in and forgotten. I would rather be a part of the cycle that is life. And so there's this like false sense of victory you get when you have a memento at your end days, so to speak. So I feel like I had commentary on wanting to bring back the idea that I have a choice, even in death. So
I mean, it really spoke to me as well, which is the final soliloquy that I wrote before I went off to have heart surgery was called "Leaving a Legacy," and being able to know that no matter what happens when I pass on, did I stand for something? Did I make a difference? Did I leave something behind that was bigger than I ever was during my time when I was alive? And then you bring up this beautiful new thought, which is also, will I be remembered for the things that I wanted to be remembered for?
Right.
And how do I ensure that? Maria, what did you think? I want you to join the conversation as well.
I thought it was beautiful. I agree with you. I feel like the one thing in life that I've wanted is to be able to leave a legacy and to touch other people's lives in some way. And I always try to tell people when they've touched my life, because I think that we go through life and we don't really know if we've touched other people's lives, right? Or we've left a mark somewhere. So I always try to take the mystery out of it for other people by telling them when they've done something that really changed me or stayed with me past the time of our meeting.
That's beautiful. I really appreciate the feedback.
It was great.
I was thinking as well, Corvus, that even being here tonight, this recording lives on. This recording lives on forever. This conversation is one, and I was thinking how many times you will deliver this poem and how many different interpretations there will be and different conversations will come out. And it's almost like different leaves on a tree or different pages in a book or chapters in a novel, and they will all tell a bigger story, the nuances, the different colors, the depth, the dimensions of just a bunch of letters which formed words which formed phrases, and phrases which formed sentences, and all through you and through your voice and through your mouth.
I think it's been it's definitely been a privilege to have shared that. I spent quite a long time keeping my poetry to myself, and the first time that I've ever got encouraged to speak and recite my poetry was on what was it, Dashboard? But yeah, on Clubhouse is where I felt like the daunting task to have thousands listen to me, and I can hide behind the screen and just be a voice. So I started to maybe go around and show face or wear a disguise and go to small little venues and recite poems, and I was getting the same results. So it feels like poetry can make a comeback in society, especially in the way that it's moving towards a more digital world. I can see a conversation happening amongst the masses about different interpretations of art, and not just poetry but art. So art is definitely making a comeback, and I am very happy and proud to be a part of this.
I also, in many respects, just this conversation right now with the three of us is my vision coming to life, even with the show, bringing together three different people and having a conversation about something so powerful that transcends, the mundane, that transcends the day-to-day, different perspectives, so rich and so meaningful. The blowhards and the windbags and the emotionally thirsty ding dongs that I spoke about in the soliloquy, they are not present tonight, and we have vanquished them thanks to your beautiful poetry. Now, you did something you surprised me a little bit at the beginning. You had something to show me. Would you mind showing everyone what you did for me? I don't know if you did it for me. Maybe you did it for you. Maybe you did it for Maria.
Maybe he did it for himself.
Yeah.
So aside from poetry, I am a pyrographer. If you haven't heard that term, it's an art medium that uses fire to create art, and some of my tools, obviously, around pencil is a torch and a hot iron, and I didn't quite finish, but I do have the burning process of your portrait there on the works.
Never looked so good, Joseph.
Oh my God. That
Amazing.
Yeah, that's and that's not even what you showed us before.
No, see, it starts the sketching process is like a rough draft, and then once you start to like burn, it's a whole nother level. And
I'm going to almost do I see a little NFT of a fire burned portrait scurry. Corvus, will you do my portrait? Wow. You need to NFT that or something. I'm just going to shut up. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Joseph, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we have a lot of talent here in South Florida because both of Corvus and I are in South Florida. So you need to come on down here to our state.
I think you know that my son is University of Miami, so I maybe the internet reception is a little bit better there, and I wouldn't have technical issues. Corvus, I'm so glad that a dark room or a greenhouse or or what do we call it again? I can't. What did we call it again?
A dashboard.
Dashboard connected us. Please go and send Corvus a tip and through Cash App. But more importantly, you can find him in Clubhouse. You can message him on Instagram to find out about these incredible custom-made commissions and inquiries about booking him for your next gig. And of course, on Instagram, he's either Harbinger of Crows or Lost Wood Burns as well. I was wondering what the hell they meant before. Now I know exactly what Lost Wood Burns means. And Harbinger of Crows, I guess that's just a little bit of gothic banter. Maria, you're so special to me, but more importantly, good luck for what's to come. As you are you becoming a grandmother for the first time?
Yeah, well, I'm not using that word yet. I don't know what word I'm using, but my daughter is having a baby, yes. I'm going into a new phase in my life.
Are you becoming a working grandmother? I will not use the phrase. I will not use the phrase.
I'm too young.
I know you are, and thank you guys. As I said, adversity. I've been through a bit of adversity over the last 18 months. Living through this time, going through heart surgery, being back in hospital, having technical issues at the beginning of the show. But what I've realized is truly what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, especially when I have two exceptional people like yourselves on Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous. And in the words of the immortal Chuck Norris,
you are Chuck Norris approved.
There you go. I will be back tomorrow at Harry Copen. Bye-bye, everybody.
Welcome back.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.